Hey guys, welcome to another Start AI YouTube video. Look, if you're still out there trying to run a traditional digital agency by chasing real life human creators, sending thousands of desperate cold DMs every week, dealing with constant scheduling drama, begging for content, and then splitting your hard earned revenue 50-50 at the end of the month, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, close your other tabs, and pay very close attention to this video. The digital landscape has completely fundamentally shifted. The old way of running a creative agency is dead. It's too slow, it's too emotional, and the margins are terrible. What we're covering today is the exact step by step infrastructure playbook to bypass the human bottleneck entirely. We're talking about how to build, automate, and horizontally scale a portfolio of fully synthetic digital models to over $500,000 a year in profit. I'm not here to sell you on some low effort pipe dream, show you some rented sports cars, or give you generic motivational garbage. We're going to open up the hood and look at the actual plumbing. We're going to break down the programmatic API driven content pipelines, the exact platform pirate dynamics, the geo-fence device architectures, the compliance protocols, and the backend security framework you need to establish in a highly profitable bulletproof digital asset portfolio in 2026. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the high level concept of how synthetic influencers make money, you will have the exact chronological 10-day launch lifecycle to deploy your very first profitable model starting this week. Let's not waste a single second. Let's dive straight into the infrastructure. Let's address the elephant in the room right off the bat. Why is the legacy creator management model fundamentally and structurally broken? If you have ever managed a real life human creator, you already know this pain intimately. You spend 3 weeks onboarding them, you set up their accounts, you map out their content calendars, you sign the contracts, and what happens next? They miss their very first content deadline because they had a bad day or they decided they didn't feel like posting. Your entire business velocity, your scaling speed, and operational revenue are held completely hostage by human emotion, inconsistency, and erratic work ethics. And the reward for putting up with all of that, you have to hand over 40 or 50% of your revenue just to keep them from walking away. It is a logistical nightmare, and honestly, as a business model, it has zero leverage. Now, let's contrast that with the synthetic AI infrastructure we are building today. When you transition your AI agency to virtual models, you gain absolute mathematical leverage. There is no human bottleneck. You own 100% of the digital assets, the IP, and the accounts. If content doesn't get produced today, it's not because a creator flaked on you or at an emotional crisis. It's because you didn't execute your generation script. You have absolute control of the brand, the aesthetic consistency, the scheduling, and best of all, you retain 100% of the profits. We are not treating digital creators like unpredictable emotional variables anymore. We're treating them like highly optimized, predictable software assets. If you want true leverage, true scale, in a business that runs like clockwork while you sleep, this is the only logical progression. You're moving from real human management to digital asset ownership. When you step into this space, you have two primary operational pathways you can take. Number one, the full AI strategy, or number two, the hybrid AI strategy. You need to understand the precise structural trade offs of both pathways before you deploy a single dollar of testing capital. Let's break down the first path, the full AI strategy. Under this model, you're creating a 100% synthetic virtual persona from scratch. Her face, her body, her background, her voice, and her lifestyle are entirely generated inside your digital pipeline. Now, here's the compliance reality you need to understand. Because major legacy monetization networks require physical government ID verification to set up creator accounts, you cannot easily host fully synthetic models on those legacy platforms. There is no real human to hold up a passport. So, how do we monetize them? We route our organic, top of funnel traffic to progressive, native alternative platforms, specifically platforms like FanView, which explicitly support virtual AI creators, provide built in payment rails, and even offer integrated algorithmic internal traffic to push your model to their existing user base. The second path is the hybrid AI model. This is where you bring in a real human talent partner, often sourced from regions like Latin America or Eastern Europe, on a fixed, flat monthly salary rather than a percentage revenue split. This real human handles the legal ID verification, owns the payment gateway, and provides the base visual references. But here's where the agency leverage comes in. Your team completely automates the top of funnel organic marketing content using AI workflows. We take their base likeness and use motion control, face swapping, and diffusion pipelines to generate thousands of highly engaging pieces of short form marketing content. If you're a complete beginner, the full AI model is your absolute best testing ground. The startup cost is practically zero, onboarding time is non existent, and you can go from concept to a live posting account in under 2 weeks. Let's look at where the actual money is moving across these networks. Let's look at the hard data because this is where 95% of beginners get their traffic and funnel strategy completely wrong. They build a model, throw a link in the bio, and just pray for the best. If you look at the comparison chart on the slide, you see that legacy subscription networks still hold a massive, undeniable conversion advantage. We're talking about a baseline of 100% relative conversion power. Why is that? It's not because their tech is better, it's because of the network effect and frictionless payment processing. The average customer clicking your link on Instagram already has their credit card pre-saved on those legacy platforms. There's zero friction. They don't have to register a new account, they don't have to verify the email, and they don't have to think twice. They click, they hit subscribe, and the payment processes instantly. This is why the hybrid model on legacy networks converts so incredibly well right now. You get the conversion power of a legacy giant combined with the automated content generation of AI. But look at the second bar. Native AI platforms like FanView are rapidly closing the gap. They're currently pulling in about 70% of that conversion efficiency, and they're innovating 10 times faster. Unlike legacy platforms that ignore creators and offer zero discovery features, native AI platforms have built-in internal traffic engines. If your model's engagement metrics are high, the algorithm will actually promote your virtual model directly on their homepage to active paying users. Then, at the bottom, you have niche startup platforms sitting at around 35% conversion power. These are fine for quick, early stage sandbox testing, but they simply lack the massive built in user base required to sustain high ticket, real spending over the long run. Your strategic takeaway here is very clear. Utilize hybrid models to maximize legacy platform conversion when you can, but aggressively build your footprint on native AI platforms today because that is where the future is frictionless, algorithm driven traffic is heading. If there's one slide in this entire presentation that will save you months of wasted effort, thousands of dollars, and endless frustration, it is this one. Let's completely debunk the single biggest trap that amateur AI creators fall into: the realism trap. Beginners spend weeks lockstepping inside comfy UI workflows, endlessly tweaking stable diffuser checkpoints, obsessing over skin pores, lighting reflections, and making absolutely sure the model has exactly 5 fingers in every single render. They think if I can just make my image look 99.9% real, I'll make millions. They're completely missing the point. Your target audience is not paying for raw visual pixels. There's a mountain of free, hyper-realistic content in studio-grade media available on the internet with a single click. What those subscribers are actually buying is attention. They're buying personalized interaction, dynamic conversations, and a cure for digital loneliness. They want to feel seen, heard, and acknowledged. Let me tell you an industry secret. Speed and market fit will beat rendering perfection every single day of the week. The biggest, most profitable virtual creators on the internet right now are not the most realistic, they're the ones with the most compelling stories, the most consistent presence, and the most engaging communication funnels. Furthermore, AI gives you the ultimate superpower of niche precision. Instead of trying to market a generic, mainstream model, you can build custom, highly specific virtual avatar tailored to precisely an underserved high value demographic. Whether that's goth aesthetics, niche fitness subcultures, or vintage cosplay, that traditional human agencies could never physically source or manage. Stop obsessing over render settings. Focus on the brand identity, the daily storytelling, the interactive carousels, and the personal connection in the direct messages. That is what actually turns casual viewers into high paying subscribers. Because virtual models are highly fungible digital assets, you should never ever treat them as precious intellectual property until they have actually proven their market viability with hard code data. In a traditional agency, onboarding a new human model is a massive high liability commitment. You have to negotiate contracts, spend money on professional photo shoots, and invest months of effort before seeing a single dollar of return. In the synthetic AI space, we treat models as a rapid, low cost experiment. If you have an idea for a highly specific niche, you don't spend 3 months generating a massive 5,000 image content catalog before launching. Instead, you generate a high quality reference face, set up the social accounts on your device, deploy basic lifestyle carousels, and start driving organic traffic immediately to test the algorithm. We run a strict, non negotiable 72-hour rule. If an avatar fails to capture algorithmic attention, pull organic impressions, or hit the baseline conversion metrics within 72 hours of active posting, we do not sit around crying about it or trying to force it to work. We archive it. We archive the architectural visual aesthetic to better fit the audience feedback and deploy a modified vision immediately. This rapid fire iteration cycle is how you discover highly lucrative, untapped niches without risking a single dollar of real capital. You iterate fast, you validate the data, you listen to the market, and you only scale the proven winners. Now, let's look under the hood at the technical pipeline that runs this entire machine. Now, let's talk about how we actually build this engine so it runs smoothly without requiring our constant manual 24-hour input. We break our automated system architecture down into three core non negotiable pillars. First, we utilize API driven generation pipelines. If you're still manually logging into consumer web apps, typing in prompts, clicking export, and downloading images one by one, you're operating at a massive disadvantage. We route our baseline assets directly through programmatic developer APIs like WaveSpeed. This drops our generation times down to seconds, allows us to automate bulk image creation, and keeps our asset organization completely standardized inside our database. Second, we combat social platform geofencing using localized mobile device farms. Let's be real, if you try to post organic content to a high paying US audience from an IP address or physical location in Eastern Europe, South America, or Southeast Asia, the platform algorithm will immediately detect your true location and severely suppress your organic reach. We operate physical, localized mobile devices routed through high quality proxy networks and US mobile data. This ensures our virtual model land directly on the feeds of our highest spending target demographics. Third, run a dynamic content auditing and sorting process. Not all generated content is created equal. Our sorting pipeline automatically audits the output. It routes highly engaging, fast paced reels directly to short form video platforms like TikTok and Instagram, while routing our exclusive high fidelity carousels and lifestyle images to private Telegram pools and VIP communities. By automating the movement of content from the initial generation script to the final post, you transition from a tedious, hands on creative job into a smooth, automated, mechanical system. When you're operating an agency at scale, platform security and account preservation are absolutely everything. If your social accounts get banned or shadow banned, your traffic dries up and your revenue drops to zero overnight. Here's exactly how we protect our client funnels. First, metadata stripping is absolutely non-negotiable. Every major social media algorithm looks deep in the underlying file data of your uploads. If they detect an AI generation watermark, program trials, or specific synthetic metadata, your content gets flagged with AI info tag or gets suppressed by safety filters. We run every single generated asset through automated metadata scrubbers to ensure the file looks like it was shot on a standard mobile device before it even touches a social network. Second, we never ever use direct single step links in our social bios. Putting a direct link to an adult subscription site in an Instagram or TikTok bio is a one way ticket to getting your social accounts permanently banned. Instead, we use what we call double hop redirection. Your bio links to an optimized intermediate landing page or an interactive highlight bubble, which warms up the user and safely routes them to the final destination. Third, we use buffer nodes. Instead of pushing cold, unvetted traffic directly from a viral video to a paid subscription page, we route them into a highly engaging, encrypted community channel like Telegram. This acts as a powerful protective buffer. It keeps your payment merchant accounts safe from sudden chargeback spikes, while building an incredibly loyal, highly concentrated audience asset that you own off platform and can monetize repeatedly. This is how you build a business that lasts. Here's a fundamental, hard truth of the digital creator economy. Relying on a single brand or a single creator is a massive systematic business risk. Because anyone on the internet can copy your model's aesthetic, reverse engineer your prompts, or mimic your virtual brand voice overnight. You cannot build a long-term, multi-million-dollar agency on a single synthetic profile. The real secret to hitting those massive $50,000 and $100,000 months is horizontal scaling. Instead of putting all your creative energy, time, and budget into trying to make one single model absolutely perfect, we distribute our operational footprint across dozens of modular models simultaneously. By scaling horizontally, you drastically spread your platforms and algorithmic risk. If one of your models hits an algorithmic slump, gets shadow banned, or experiences a temporary drop in traffic, it doesn't affect your baseline agency model because you have 49 other active virtual models generating daily revenue across different niches. You build a plug-and-play system where individual models can be booted up, scaled, or retired based on their performance data, without ever disrupting your aggregated monthly cash flow. Let's look at exactly how we execute a model launch from day one. This is your operational blueprint. This is the exact 10-day execution lifecycle we use for every single model launch on our agency's roster. On day one, we ideate. We analyze our market demographic data, we identify our target audience, and generate a high-fidelity reference phase using custom stable diffusion seeds to ensure flawless, long-term visual continuity across all future assets. By day 3, we establish our social media profiles across our localized phone routing nodes. We run a strict 24-hour organic warm-up sequence, meaning we browse, search, like, and interact with content just like a normal human user to establish deep platform trust and completely avoid automated bot flags. On day 5, we test. We deploy our first structured carousels and organic short-form reels. We monitor our analytics closely, looking specifically at viewer retention curves, search impressions, and bio click-through rates. And by day 10, we scale. Once a model passes our initial performance benchmarks, we plug them directly into our automated content distribution pipelines, hook up our premium monetization funnels, and run aggressive, scaled marketing campaigns across our networks. 10 days from a raw concept to an automated cash flowing digital asset. That is the unmatched power of this playbook. I want you to take a second and really think about where this digital economy is heading over the next 24 months. The quote on the slide says it all. The landscape is shifting to custom, real-time interactions and zero response lag. Dynamism and flexibility are your only safety nets. The standard static social media fan page is rapidly evolving. We are moving headfirst into a world dominated by interactive, LLM powered virtual companions. The consumer of tomorrow doesn't want to wait 3 hours for a creator to reply to a direct message. They want instant, context aware, personalized conversations. They want real time, custom generated voice notes and personalized media on demand. The agencies and creators that thrive in the next 24 months will be the ones that stay incredibly dynamic and refuse to get attached to a single tool, a single platform, or a single way of doing things. Remain flexible, watch the data, and adapt to the technology as it evolves. That wraps up the ultimate playbook. If you have the basic technical literacy, a couple $100 of testing capital, and the daily discipline to execute these operational stages, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from succeeding in this space. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway from this video, or let me know which step of our 10-day launch life cycle you want me to deep dive into next. If you want access to our private community, our localized phone proxy infrastructure, or our custom content automation tools, make sure to check out the links in the description below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss our next scaling breakdown, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.